The final pay-per-view in UFC history, or at least for the next 7 years. UFC 323 goes down this Saturday, December 6th, 2025. The final pay-per-view maybe ever. The final pay-per-view of 2025, and we are finishing the year off strong with 2 title fights, and in that main event is none other than the machine himself, Merab Dvalishvili, looking to continue to cement his legacy as the greatest bantamweight of all time, continue climbing the ranks in the all-time GOAT discussion regardless of weight class. And not only is he looking to continue building his name value over the course of the UFC's 32 plus year history, but he is looking to accomplish something on this night at UFC 323 that no one has ever done before. And that accomplishment, it is to defend his championship 4 times in 1 calendar year. Because we know that he became the champion in September of 2024 at Noche UFC by defeating Sean O'Malley at the Sphere, one of, if not the biggest events in UFC history. And in 2025, he has gone 3-0 with 3 championship defenses. First was a victory at UFC 311 in January against the then undefeated Umar Nurmagomedov, who has since bounced back from that loss with a victory over Mario Bautista. Then he would improve to 2-0 against the former champion Sean O'Malley, except this time he wouldn't leave it in the hands of the judges, but he would submit Sean O'Malley in the 3rd round. In nearly 2 months to the day from the time that he steps into the cage at UFC 323, he defeated Corey Sandhagen at UFC 320 on October 4th, and he did so via dominant decision. And now he has the opportunity to improve to 2-0 against another foe of his, and this time it is Petr Yan. They first met back in March of 2023 in a UFC Fight Night main event where Merab Dvalishvili would absolutely dominate the former champion from minute 1 to minute 25, outstriking Yan 202 to 87 total, 147 to 75 significant strikes, landing 11 takedowns out of 49 attempts. In nearly 7 minutes of control time, there was little to no successful offense on the side of the former champion Yan in that first matchup with Merab, but can he right the ship in his second go-around to become a 2-time bantamweight champ? And not only is Merab attempting to do something no one has ever done before by defending a title 4 times in 1 calendar year, but he continues to try and climb the ranks in the UFC record books in numerous other categories, including win streak, because if you didn't know, he has the 3rd longest win streak in UFC history currently with 14 wins in a row. He has not lost a bout since April 21st of 2018 against Ricky Simón, where he would be submitted at the very final second of the bout, and he has not looked back since, racking up an insane resume at 135 pounds, becoming the champion, defending it multiple times. And the names on his resume include Marlon Moraes, a former title challenger, Jose Aldo, the former featherweight great turned bantamweight title challenger, the aforementioned and his current matchup, Petr Yan, Henry Cejudo, an Olympic gold medalist and 2-weight world champion in the UFC, Sean O'Malley, a former champion, Umar Nurmagomedov, we said he was undefeated when they first met, and Corey Sandhagen, someone who has fought for a title once before in his career and is widely recognized by the MMA community as one of the more versatile fighters in the entire organization. Line him up, knock him down. That is the motto for the machine that is Merab Dvalishvili, and if he wins this fight and defends his title for the 4th time, he will also win his 15th fight in a row, tying him with the all-time great welterweight Kamaru Usman, and then just putting him 1 win away from tying the all-time record with Anderson Silva and the newly minted welterweight king Islam Makhachev. He has the most takedowns in UFC history, and by a pretty large margin, 117 for him, and you have to go all the way to 90 for George St. Pierre sitting in 2nd place, one of the greatest fighters of all time, mind you. And if you take a look specifically at the bantamweight record books for the UFC, you will notice that Merab Dvalishvili has the most strikes landed of all time with 2,476, over 700 more than the 2nd place fighter, and guess who that is? Petr Yan. And obviously, if he has the most takedowns in UFC history, then he has the most takedowns in bantamweight history, but the margin here is even more insane. 104 takedowns landed at 135 pounds. The 2nd place fighter is Ricky Simón with 57 takedowns behind Merab. He has the most control time in bantamweight history with over an hour and a half, 23 minutes ahead of the second place fighter and one of his best friends in the world, Aljamain Sterling, the former bantamweight king. And if he beats Petr Yan on Saturday night, he will tie TJ Dillashaw for the most bantamweight title victories of all time with 5. And lastly, from a record book perspective, if Merab beats Petr Yan on Saturday, he will tie the aforementioned Sterling with the most victories of all time in this weight class with 14. And while I think it is a little bit sad that it took a 14-fight win streak and him quite literally proving that he is not human to become one of the more popular fighters in the UFC, I'm extremely happy for Merab to finally be getting all of this shine, headlining multiple pay-per-views in the same year, and slowly but surely climbing the GOAT discussion. And of course, I talk about all of these accolades, I talk about all of the hype and momentum of Merab, where he has nearly looked untouchable over this 14-fight win streak, but I'd be a fool if I overlooked the skill set of Petr Yan, Merab's opponent on Saturday. Yan is a former champion for a reason, holding victories over John Dodson, Jimmy Rivera, Uriah Faber, Jose Aldo, Corey Sandhagen, and since losing to Merab in 2023, victories over Song Yadong, Davison Figueiredo, and Marcus McGee. 3 victories in a row since that loss to Merab. He has more than earned this crack at the title and at a rematch. At 32 years of age, Yan is still right in those prime years with an overall record of 19-5, but his losses have been to Merab Dvalishvili, Sean O'Malley, a very controversial decision, Aljamain Sterling, the former arguable greatest bantamweight of all time before Merab's title reign, and then one loss outside of the UFC, but that was to Magomed Magomedov, who is a highly accredited PFL/Bellator fighter. And he has such a well-polished skill set, both offensively and defensively. His fight IQ is extremely high, his striking is extremely versatile, and he has sneaky good offensive grappling and wrestling in his own right, but can he hold up in the defensive grappling? We saw him technically do it pretty well against Merab if you want to really dig into defending 38 out of 49 takedowns. But let's be real, if he's going to get taken down 11 more times on Saturday, he's not coming out of UFC 323 as the victor and with that title wrapped around his waist. It's just that simple. The math doesn't math. If he can keep the fight standing, if he can keep the fight at his distance and keep Merab from pushing him up against the fence with his insane pace and pressure, then I think we are in for a very intriguing bout, because it's undeniable that the pure striking capabilities of Petr Yan outweigh those of Merab. But in the same breath, I can't overlook what Merab just did 2 months ago against Corey Sandhagen, another very versatile, unique striker, where he nearly knocked him out on the feet in the opening moments of the fight. We genuinely are getting to the point with Merab where he is becoming untouchable, and I'm truly wondering if there is anyone at bantamweight that can stop him. If he isn't already the greatest bantamweight of all time in your eyes after hearing all of the accolades that he has with this insane win streak, with the title defenses and the names of the people that he is beating, then surely if he beats Petr Yan a second time this coming Saturday, you'll finally give him that moniker. And it's going to be a Monday conversation, but we are seriously going to have to talk about where Merab sits in terms of the all-time GOAT status if he gets another nod, makes his win streak 15 in a row. He may already be in the top 10 depending on who you ask, but if he wins here, not only will he enter the top 10 in my opinion, but he might crash in closer to the top 5. I want to get all of your predictions for this UFC 323 main event down in the comments below. What do you make of Merab Dvalishvili and this insane win streak that he is on? Is he becoming one of the biggest names, dare I say stars, in the UFC right now? How far along is he in your current GOAT discussion? And come Saturday, if he wins, how far into that will he climb? Is he the greatest bantamweight of all time? And if not, will this win finally give him that title? And I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, what do you think the chances are that Petr Yan can put a stop to all of the hype, all of the momentum, to the win streak, and become a 2-time bantamweight champion? Sound off down below. If you enjoyed this title fight breakdown, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new, because we are on the road to reaching 1,000 subscribers, and it would be an insane accomplishment to reach that milestone before the end of the year, so any and all support is greatly appreciated. You can also join the discussion on social media at Verbal Spar MMA on X, Instagram, and TikTok, as well as like the Facebook page Verbal Sparring MMA, and you can follow on your favorite audio listening platforms such as Spotify and Apple, where every Monday and Friday podcast episodes released there. Have a great weekend, enjoy the fights, and I will see you all in the next video.